MLK Day, there were 2 50-point games. Well, one 50-point game and another 48-point game. LeBron had 48. Jason Tatum had 51. I want to know in this juncture and in the method that they did it, whose game was more impressive?
Well, they were both against those are both the weakest teams in the NBA, so can't go off of that. I guess I'm gonna have to go with Bron just because he's 40. You know what I'm saying? So
Bron also put up I think 9 and 8 to go along with that 48 points.
Yeah,
and I think Tatum
did
what's
9
the 0?
and 5.
What's the 0?
Turnovers.
Oh, he had 0 turnovers?
Zero.
Is
not
that the
one.
first time in his career?
Not one turnover last year.
Oh wow. Yo, no, that's crazy.
That actually might be the most impressive part. Because I think Tatum was what, 51, 8 and 5 or 9 and 5, something like that.
Yep.
They were both very impressive, but are they? When you're dropping, when your team's dropping 140 points, how impressive is 40 anymore?
That is also a fact. It's not as impressive.
I'm not saying it's not. It is. It's not as impressive.
Well, the first thing that we want to make sure we clear on is the fact that they needed every one of those 48 in order to win yesterday.
Which is kind of sad.
They didn't need some of that. They needed every last one of those 48 in order for them to win. And Houston is, in my opinion, I think they're the worst team in the NBA. I think the Lakers, in terms of a talent standpoint, I think they're the worst team in the NBA. However, they needed all 48 of those points from LeBron James in order to beat that Houston team full of pups, right? Full of pups. Now,
I was going to tell you the
Kevin
0
Porter Jr.
until you told me about the 0 turnovers. I was going to say him shooting, I think 5 of 10 from 3.
Right.
He's actually
the
more
shooter in the league.
Low.
He's still having his worst 3-point shooting season of his career.
No doubt.
He's the worst in the league.
He's
dead last.
He's literally might be the worst jump shot shooter in the league, Ron.
Yeah.
I just want to let you know that, Ron.
Nah, but I'm saying, like, when somebody does something great, we can always just come up here and say,
no.
okay,
I agree. I think
LeBron is the most impressive.
Yes, LeBron was the most impressive. But you sitting here trying to act as if like, oh, this is when it's going to turn around for him.
I mean, it took him to play against the Houston Rockets, but I don't know.
You know what's so crazy? He's shooting so bad. If he wants to get back to his like season or career average, he has to shoot like 42% for the rest of the season. Are 30 points big games anymore?
See that? See?
35 for Holiday's a big game, don't you think?
Okay.
Maybe not the 40.
Hey, I'm still impressed by 35-point, 40-point games. I never been in that. Just might be for me personally because I was never a big scorer. You know what I'm saying? So when I see cats go for 40, you know what I'm saying, I'm still like, hey, and I know there's 48 minutes in the game, and it doesn't take too many, especially with that level of talent. But I'm still impressed by 40 points and 35 points. I think I always will be.
It's just this logic right here is like, so in another couple of years, like 25 is going to be like 12, right? 25 is going to be like, you only went for 17 or you only went for 18. It's going to be almost nothing to go for 28.
Like, did we talk about this last week? There's 55 guys averaging over 20 points, and the highest ever prior to this season was 31.
Yeah.
That's
like scoring, they're gonna have to do something.
Well, here's the thing, though, Tone. What needs to be done? I mean, this is the way to get this is the way the game is played. This is
or expansion. Actually, this is actually a perfect time for expansion. This is genuinely a perfect time for expansion. And if this is actually the most time where it actually makes by far the most sense. I've never even like I wasn't like cognizant of like when it was expanding and the 90s. But like right now makes the most sense for them to expand, like by far.
And why is that, Lo?
There's 55 players averaging 20.
But it's still 30 teams in the league. How many? I mean, it's not like the talent.
It's almost like this. This almost is getting to a point where it's almost 2 20-point scorers on every team. 55. Yeah.
So we've seen in the past when there's expansion, the distribution of talent,
right?
Yeah. Right. It might not look. The stars are still there, but your teammates aren't as good. And it levels the playing field a little bit more.
But see, here's the problem.
How many more teams? Like four more teams?
I think look, they're going to get to 40 at some point, but I think
what?
They'll get to 40, I think, but I think 32 right away. Sonics
definitely needs to be another team.
The Vegas gamblers are going to be there, and there's the 32 to start, and then they're going to have to. I think 36. Yeah, they will get to 40.
But here's the downside. There's too much money. There's too much money. I did not see 40 teams in the NBA. No way.
40 teams.
By when Fluent? Like
okay, I think 32 in the next 3 years.
Yeah,
36 in the next 10. And I would say 40 and 15 to 20 years, yeah.
40 teams?
I don't think it's going to take
40 teams is crazy.
I'll tell you, I've said this before. They probably should do it like the Premier League, where they relegate.
Oh, yeah. That'd be nice.
If we can get to 40 teams and they have like legitimate 10 players like that are like very competent, great, that just means the skill level is like through the roof. For you to get to 40 teams...
Hold on. Why would you 10 players that are teams don't have 10 players on their rosters now that are skilled?
But that's what I'm saying. If they can get to 400 players in a league where they're all skilled and equally distributed, that's crazy. That'd be crazy.
Well, that's not that crazy though. When you factor in that it is 50 plus 40 point or 30 point scores, or no, 20 point scores. That means every team would essentially have a 20 point score.
So if you had 30, if you have yeah, that makes sense.
But
every team have a 20-point score.
Man, that's crazy.
And then maybe not a legitimate second guy, but then a second guy.
And then half of them have two.
Upper team.
Right. But half of them have two.
You just need to bring that defense too.
Here's the drawback. We can just stay with the two expansion teams that you talk about. But the drawback would be exactly what we got to hear from Jordan when Jordan was winning the NBA championships in the 90s. Well, they had 5 teams expand from 88 into 96. So the league was, quote unquote, watered down. So now if you want to add even more teams to the league, the next eventual champion who's winning the championship more than once, more than twice, that's going to be the logic on him too. Well, the league was watered down. You have 32 teams in the league.
But that's from the basic people who don't understand.
Yeah, I'm about to say, right. I don't think anybody's saying that the league will be watered down because they add 2 teams. They're just dumb. Like they just wouldn't know.
Because look, you go back and look at those teams. Right, you look at those teams that expanded in those days, and half of them, Charlotte, for example, whatever, in a few years they were playoff teams. And
Charlotte, Orlando, Miami were all playoff teams.
Those teams all became playoff teams very quickly. And if you look at even today, I bet you there's just as many horrible teams today as there was. Pick any year, there's just as many bad teams as good teams. Go back to the whatever year. So I think that stuff's it's a narrative. It's a false one.
ESPN chill. You always got to throw a little diss in there to Michael Jordan, don't you?
Oh my god!
This has nothing to do with no. This got nothing to do. This has nothing to do with throwing shade at Jordan because you did not peep anything. I did. I've heard that. Tone, if I'm not mistaken, Tone, did you not have to explain this to people about Jordan being in a watered down league?
Yeah.
Right. So this is not to throw shade at Jay. Absolutely not. This is not to throw shade at him.
No.
Joy, wait,